Hi, I'm Dan from vintagevelo.org and today we are riding a vintage Bianchi Megapro. This one's in the full 1998 discount supermarket livery of Mercatone Uno, the team famously ridden by the greatest climber ever, Marco Pantani. We'll come on to him later. Now this bike, these Megapros, they're all aluminium framed, TIG welded with carbon fibre forks. Now these are quite early on in the development of aluminium frames. It's the first aluminium frame to win the Tour de France, and they are all butt welded with TIG welding. I've got to be honest, quality of the world's not the greatest in the world. From an aesthetic point of view, they are lumpy and bumpy. If you compare them with the workmanship of maybe the earlier steel TSX Bianchis, which are a work of art, these, though stunningly beautiful, are not in that same league of finish quality. Group set on here is probably the finest mechanical group set ever made, the Campagnolo Super Record Titanium 9-speed. It is fantastic. Crankset, we've got a 53-39 up front, on the cassette 13 to 26. Enough to handle most hills, mountains perhaps a little bit of a challenge. Maybe change down to a 52 or 50 on the front would help there. But this, for me, on this bike, works brilliantly. I do a lot of mileage on this bike. It's my go-to vintage ride for general riding. Probably do about 3,000 kilometers a year on it. For that reason, I do have Ambrosio TQBs as a wheel set, 32 spokes front and back. Pantani famously rode Campagnolo Electrons. I do have a set of those, but they are very, very fragile. And if you are putting in mileage, Ambrosio's much more reliable, much less likely to let go of a spoke or anything like that. Also got some nice Michelin Pro tyres on there, mainly because they've got a yellow ring on, and that's all. Up front here we have the original Bianchi fork. Mercatone Uno did run time forks. This is the original one, just rebranded with the time on there. Also we have an ITM 260 handlebars, nice and skinny. These are only about 40 centimeters wide, matched with an ITM Big One 120 stem. The ITM Big One stem, iconic for Mercatone Uno. If you're running a bike like this, that's a must-have. At the back here we have the iconic Italia Pirata saddle, probably one of the coolest saddles ever made. If ever you need a bike like this, you just have to have that saddle. Alright, so here we are, early spring, southern Spain on the coast roads. Road quality is reasonably good, there's not that much road buzz. To be fair, the aluminium frame on this does throw a lot of buzz back at you. The road is very good. On a road like this is fantastic. No problems at all. Geometry is classic Italian modern, long, low and fast. And once you're down on those drops, I want you to keep the cadence up. No sit up and begs, this is no Dutch tourer. It just wants you down low and go, you know? It's fine by me, because I might prefer the flats to the hills, but don't tell anyone. Ciao, Costa. Okay, so word of warning, if you're buying a vintage aluminium Bianchi, goes for Megapro, XL, L, EV2, any of those, be very, very careful, inspect the frame carefully beforehand. You are expecting to find cracks potentially around the bottom bracket, where the seat tube connects, and both upper and lower connections of the steerer tube, and also around the steerer tube as well, normally just below the headset. So this one came with cracks around the headset area and where the down tube meets the steerer tube. They weren't that bad, and I was able to have them cut open, welded, obviously by a competent professional TIG welder. Do not try anything DIY on anything like that. They were professionally TIG welded to effect a full repair. Now, that was done 5 years ago. The bike was completely restored and painted back then, and I've had no further problems since, but I do regularly check for cracks. Voila! So Marco Pantani, legendary climbing figure, probably the finest climber the sport's ever seen. Open to debate, but just my opinion. What was exceptional about Pantani was that on roads like this, he had no interest. He'd sit at the back, surrounded by his brightly coloured teammates who shepherded him along, literally in last place. So unfussed was Pantani of winning the 98 Tour. He came 7th from last in the prologue time trial. He lost minutes straight away to his main rivals, Jan Ulrich, Bjarne Riis and others. And he sat there near the bottom of the pack until the only two summer finishes, La Planche de Belleville and the famous Glabier stage. Okay, I've come off the coast road down the foothills of southern Spain, coming up in and through Figliana. Lovely spot for riding. Roads are pretty good, traffic's not too bad. What about the setup on this bike? Though it's super record titanium 9, Pantani famously, I have no idea what he was after. Okay, still the big ring. Here we go. Okay, looking like quite a ramp. She's about, I don't know, 13-15%. You're trying to hold the cadence. That's 65 RPM. If it drops below that, I will be in trouble. And you might see an infamous stop of shame. Good. It's fair to say Campagnolo nailed the mechanical groupset with 9-speed super record. Those things shift so beautifully on the spot every time, super quick. You got the classic Campagnolo fast dump down change gears. You want to drop 5 cogs, just push it down, hold it down and you change them. Very, very useful on a descent like this, following a motorhome and a van. Now, that's southern Spain for you. Look at this up now, going super fast. Instead, I am stuck behind a camper van and a van. Good test of brakes and handling. I must point out the handling of the Megapro is fantastic. Super stable, doesn't do anything untoward, allows you to brake, get angry, goddamn motorhomes. And people just walking out in front of me. There we are.
Well, that's just about all for today's ride. If you want to see more vintage rides like this, then click on subscribe and like this video.
Oh, come on, buddy. Come on, you're a white van. We're in the UK. You're doing 90.